This is Magic City Soccer.
2019. Yeah, I was up in those meetings in Minneapolis, which I'm not sure why they had them in Minneapolis. I kept asking that question. When we have hotels in Miami, but I'll leave that to the event organizers. But our future for 19 is pretty much set. We're going to play in the MPSL, the current structure of the MPSL, which is a 98-team league, a thriving league, which we were the defending champions. So we'll play in that. We'll start in the Sunshine Conference, which we played in with Miami United and Naples and Jacksonville. And there's a couple of teams that potentially are joining that conference. We'll do the same format in the spring. So we'll start in April, and that runs through the postseason if we make it into July. And then after that, a couple weeks ago, we announced 11 teams from the MPSL announced that they were going to take part in this MPSL Founders Cup, which is really a prelude to the future. It'll be 11 teams that are going to use professional players, have professional staffs, and play a notch above where the current system is. So that gives us an opportunity to get back to a 6-month schedule. That league will start a couple weeks after the final of the MPSL. So we're looking at late August, and we're working on the schedules. But late August through October, and then postseason will be October, first week in November. Right now, the current structure, we've got 11 teams, 5 in the East that have kind of committed. Us, Miami United, so we have a natural derby that we'll play a couple times a year, which will be perfect. We owe them some revenge from last year's Open Cup, so I'm looking forward to playing them again. New York Cosmos are back, our nemesis, who knocked us out of the NASL finals semifinals in 2017. So we get a chance to get revenge on the Cosmos. Two great stories in amateur football and soccer in general in the United States: Chattanooga and Detroit. These teams are thriving grassroots teams that are drawing 7,000-8,000 a match for amateur games. It's unbelievable, and they've been ready and asking for more matches. And they wanted to maintain kind of the structure of the MPSL. They like the partners in MPSL, so they'll be in it. So we've got Cosmos, Miami United, Miami FC, Chattanooga, Detroit, and then Milwaukee Torrent, which is another MPSL team that's ready to take that next level and use professional players, etc. And there's 5 teams in the West. A couple around the LA area: Miami United, Cal United, Miami United, Cal United, which is in Orange County. Then there's a team in Thousand Oaks called Cal FC, which, if you look back at the history of Cal FC, they made a great run in the U.S. Open Cup a few years ago. Eric Ronaldo was the coach. I think he took them to the quarterfinals, an amateur team that beat Portland, I think. So there's a great history there. A team from San Diego called Albion FC, Oakland Roots, and then a team in Arizona FC, which plays in Chandler, Arizona. So we got a great mix. We've got teams on the West, teams on the East, and we're looking forward to playing 6 months next year. And hopefully we'll win some more trophies, because we've had some pretty good success on the field in our short history, and we're hoping to continue that. And we've got some great partners that are excited about taking this step.
This new league that is going to start with the Founders Cup, is this going to be fully professional? We know you kind of had trouble calling it a professional league, but you guys as the owners are going to treat it as a professional league?
Well, yeah, we treat everything we do as a professional, but the other teams are committed to using professional players and professional staffs. There's some terminology that we can't use in terms of how you classify the league, but every team is using professional players and have professional staffs, and it'll treat this as a professional environment. So it will certainly be kind of a different atmosphere than what you'll see in the MPSL Classic.
You mentioned that you hope to be back at the stadium, at Riccardo Silva Stadium soon. Is that something that's in the works?
We're looking at different opportunities during the season. So whether that's during the MPSL Founders Cup, or postseason in an MPSL Classic, we'll call it, or if we advance far enough in the Open Cup. So we're going to look for opportunities to open that stadium, at least once or a couple at the minimum next year. So we want to make sure we utilize that and get back in there, and then hopefully in 2020, we're back in there full time. That's the goal, because MPSL Founders Cup has committed to playing at that level full season, April to October or November in 2020 and beyond.
And the roster is going to have 1-year contracts, 2-year contracts?
We're working. Everybody's different, so we're still working on completing the roster.
Yeah, but in terms of the full 2019, are you going to have a team that is going to play in the Sunshine Conference and then another one?
We'll have one team. Our goal is to have one team that we bring in. We're looking at bringing the players in potentially in mid-January. We're still working on the date, but using that team, Obviously, there's roster changes, but our goal is to set the roster and play for the full season in both leagues
And that's
Open
going to
Cup.
be Miami FC or Miami FC 2?
To be branded as Miami FC.
Miami FC.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with Miami FC 2?
We'll keep that in hold. It could be something in the future where we have an under 23 or a reserve team, or maybe the top level of this academy becomes a Miami FC 2 team that plays somewhere that could be at the NPSL Classic as we talked about it, or at a different level. So we'll keep that to the side right now. We're going to move forward as Miami FC, and we'll play the whole season as Miami FC. I guess both seasons.
All right, and just to be clear, this is it for Miami FC. It's going to be NPSL, Founders Cup, and whatever comes after that. There's no thought about going to any other league or anything like that?
Not at this point, no. I mean, so in this crazy world of soccer, who knows what can happen? I mean, apparently Ottawa got kicked out of the USL last night by CONCACAF. So the external factors are always there, but our goal is to continue on this path.
What do you think about that?
I don't know enough about the FIFA statutes on that to comment, but I think, as you know, that all countries should comply with FIFA statutes. So the United States should comply and have promotion and relegation, which we're big advocates of and are still involved in the Court of Arbitration for Sport hearing. So if this brings CONCACAF and the United States and Canada more in line with what FIFA statutes and regulations say, then okay, that's the way it should be, because we should all comply with those. We shouldn't have exceptions, and especially promotion and relegation, where the United States is really the only country. Australia will have it soon enough, and really they'll use the United States as the only country with multiple professional divisions that aren't complying with that. So if it brings everybody in compliance with FIFA, I'm an advocate of that.
Is it a goal of the league, of the NPSL with the pro and the spring program to eventually bring promotion and relegation into that mix sometime in the future? And would Miami FC support that?
Of course, yeah. I mean, we're advocates of that. So if the league reaches a critical mass and you have the numbers that make sense, then certainly that would be the goal. So you grow the league, you get enough, and I don't know what those numbers are, but you get enough, and then you start promotion and relegation based on sporting merit, not professional league standards that the USSF currently has.